everyone, welcome back to Coffee with Crainer. We have a fun episode today. We're here with Ben Puzwali, or Ben Anthony on Facebook. It's his alias, I guess. He's the founder of Not a Poor Decision, an online movement that focuses on providing happiness and motivation to subscribers. And he's had a ton of experience in sales, information technology, data analytics, a number of things that most people don't know. And we're going to get into that today. He's also the director of sales and marketing and one of the founders at Cayzu, a help desk software or independent software vendor. ISV was the fancy word that you used, which enables companies to provide better customer support at Cayzu.com. And he's also the former co-owner of VisionWorks Solutions, which was a product by Roboback. And it's a cloud-based backup software provider that you ran with Brian Bondi, I believe, who's also been on this podcast. And you sold that business.
Yeah, we sold that business 14 years ago. Yeah, Brian Bondi, huge shout out. He's still my best friend since 4, and Joe Bondi, his co-worker's brother. So
yes. So
yeah,
I mean, cool. We're gonna have a good conversation. It's out of the ordinary. I haven't spoke to somebody who's really like an online influencer, but focused on comedy and motivating others. So, but before we get started on how you built this positive brand, where in Tecumseh is your favorite place for coffee?
Absolutely, the Naked Cup on Old Tecumseh Road. Yeah. And it's not because it's naked and I'm usually not wearing a shirt. Okay, Lyndon. They have great. It's the ambiance, right? When you're somewhere and you feel good. Anyway, that's why I like Naked Cup on Tecumseh Road. So shout out to them. They're awesome.
Yes, I agree. It's been great there. They have breakfast.
It's a lot of really good place. Great vibe.
Absolutely. Now, where are we right now?
So we are in my backyard bar. A lot of people didn't know this is a real bar. I think it's like 12 by 20 or something, but Poor Decisions. That's what it was called. This has been, 2018. What year is it? 2024?
Yes.
So 6 years in the making. Everything here was built by me and my neighbor kind of thing. And obviously decorated by me. And that explains my very...
There's a lot of interesting decor.
Yeah, it's a very unique mind to say the bare minimum.
So how did Not a Poor Decision start? What was the inspiration behind this?
So I've always been a comedian. Not a comedian. I've always been a jokester, talk too much. And I've always had the knack to make people smile, right? That's what keeps me going. Yeah. So legit, we were sitting right here in the bar a year and a half ago at this point, because I've done this for 15 months now, right? So about 17, 18 months ago, me, my ex-fiance, and my buddy Ray, that's actually been in a couple of videos. We're sitting here, and it all started with making a joke. Like my ex at this point, I guess, was kind of teasing me, and I said, trust me, I've been married too many times, I know this. And I started making some wisecracks, and that's how it all started. So it started as like complete like joke, and it turned into something way bigger, like a movement to like unlock people's potential, like spread kindness, self-worth, right? Like love, laughter. So that's kind of how it all started. And it literally took me 2 months to pull the trigger on the first video. And that was me chainsawing a couch. I remember my ex got home and I was chainsawing a couch in the middle of the front yard, like in Tecumseh, Ontario.
It's an expensive video.
Yeah, it's an expensive video for sure. But, whatever. It made people laugh, and she was like, what the? Anyways, that's how it all started. But it's an important lesson, right? It took me 2 months for me being so loud, and I'm very confident. I have no ego, I'll be honest with you. Like, everybody has an ego, but I'm confident. But it took me 2 months to pull the trigger on my first video, because I was so nervous.
Yeah, and you've had a lot of success since. Yeah. If you can, I know you don't like to toot your own horn, but what success have you seen so far with Not a Poor Decision? So there's brand deals, there's a lot of things.
Yeah, if you look at straight numbers, 800,000 views last month, just last month. But that doesn't what it makes me excites me. What excites me is every single day I get messages or comments saying, "Thank you. I needed to hear this. Thank you. I went out to a comedy club and did an act because of you." Like, come on. It's my personality, and I know I'm supposed to make this world a better place, and that's where it sits. Yeah. So that's my success, is people happy, because it's just I'm pushing those people that need that little bit of push to go out and do, right? Do something. Failing's okay. That's my success so far, right? But there has been a little bit of brand deals. Like I've had, like big brands. I'm still working with big brands, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm trying to build a brand. This is way bigger than money for me. Yeah. And And what I tell you is genuine because I'm genuine.
Yeah.
And you're going to see that on the, anyways, that's
what are you looking to do with this brand that this online community that you've built? Where do you want to take it?
I can't give up. And the thing is, I won't give up. My will won't let me give up, right? So I want to get to millions, and I already know it. I can't give I'm destined for this. The universe has brought me here.
Yes.
The more people that watch, the more people that are going to be happier, that are going to, it's a domino effect, right? Mm-hmm. So that's my goal. My goal is to make this a major brand. And the more money I make, the more I give away. And that's the truth. And you can look at my history. I've done this my whole life. I want to help people. This world can suck. You know this. So, right? We need this perspective, honestly.
Yeah. And speaking of brand, we have some some great mugs here. What? Tell us about this.
Okay, so this is kind of the old design, right? So if you'll notice, I don't know if it's close enough or not, but there's no smile on it, right? But all the new stuff has a smile. Mm-hmm. And it's on my website, obviously, the merch, and and I am tied into a mental health organization called Beyond to Change, or Change, Bring Change to Mind, okay? Yeah. And anyways, proceeds of anything I make will always go to mental health, because I think mental health is something that's always been, surrounded me and has plagued so many of us, including me, mm-hmm. Throughout our lives.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. It's a really it's a fun brand, right?
Thank you. It's a fun brand. You go
on your page
brand.
And it's
correct.
You're
it's
not
crazy.
You're not constantly selling somebody on
something.
No,
I'm never selling. Obviously, I'd appreciate the support, but I'm not going to push. And really important, Lyndon, I'm not the type that'll take any deal. I've turned down deals.
Yeah.
Because if I don't believe in a product or something, it's like evil versus good, right? It's not going to work for me. Mm-hmm. I can't do what I don't believe in.
And where did you get that mindset, or just to be more? You're obviously strategic with what
mm-hmm.
you're doing. Mm-hmm. Did you get that from your past businesses that
Yeah. So I started at 18. So I went to university for a year, got kicked out. and it's not because I'm not smart or anything, because I was partying, not paying attention. Anyways, I was laying on the couch, and this is how it all started. I was 18. My mom comes down, and she's like, you have two options. You can cry about it, or you can get up, go to college, and go back, kind of thing, right? So I went to college for a year, and that's when I started the business. The first, it was a computer business at the time. But I went back to university, graduated, and the rest is history. So where did I learn it? Definitely by making every mistake you could think of. My dad, like great parents, right? They're immigrant. My dad's an immigrant, Italy. He doesn't really know anything about business. My mom was in finance, but she had no clue about business. So we learned in the school of hard knocks, literally by making every mistake.
Yes. That's how you learn as an entrepreneur, right?
Yeah. And the thing is when I look at things how to improve it always, right? Because if I'm just stocking magazines here, okay, I'll right away, my mind works like that. It's like, I don't want to just keep stocking, how do I make it faster, right? So that's why I promote failure. Because if failing means learning, and learning means succeeding, right?
Yes.
And so,
yeah, you always come back. It's how you come back from those failures, right?
Exactly. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever met someone that's failed that's never given up?
Plenty.
That's never given up?
That's never given up? Somebody
so
that's
if
failed.
you never give if you fail, mm-hmm. right? No, sorry. Have you met someone that's failed that's never given up? It's impossible, because if you never give up, do you know what I'm saying to you? If you never give up, if you keep failing but you keep getting up, you're never going to fail. Right? Do you get what I'm saying?
So you've never failed.
You'll never fail, because the thing is, will the idea pivot? Maybe yes. Mm-hmm. Right? I'm not saying if you start a business, and I've started plenty, and some have been successful, some have not, right? But you have to know when to leave too, right? There's a book by Seth Godin called The Dip, and it's fail and fail often.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. Because to be honest, when we started Not a Poor Decision, it had a totally different idea. We had a back end, because I'm in software, so we had a whole back end planned. And it's changed because we've pivoted now to Not a Poor Decision being the prime time, because it's picked up. And again, more important than money, it's the change, the movement I'm doing, helping. So
yeah. And I want to talk about what's in front of us here.
Yeah.
What is this? Who is this good-looking man?
Oh, this is you guys know what's his name? What's the famous soccer player's name? David Beckham. So yes. David Beckham. I don't look anything like him, but that's me.
Yes.
No, yeah. So I was asked to be on the LaSalle cover. It was such an honor. A huge shout out to Rena V Photography, Julia Moscow's, thank you for the opportunity. It's just amazing, because, it's the validation, right? And the validation all started with your coworker Joe Bondi, by the way.
Yeah.
So if you've ever seen the movie,
we have to mention Joe.
Yeah, Joe, come on, we love you, Joe. Joe, like Roxy's girlfriend says, Joe. Anyways, so no, what this is a really important part, and I've called this out a few times, and this is so critical for you to know this, and I want to personally tell you this, and I don't think I've told you this before. Maybe I have, but Joe Bondi, you ever watched Jerry Maguire the movie? Not really? Okay, so long story short, he loses his mind at one point in the middle of the night, and he writes this huge manifesto. Okay, like a huge, thick, how he wants to spread kindness because he's a sports athlete, okay, and he wants to care about the people. He doesn't want just the money, okay? Mm-hmm. He prints it, everybody thinks he's nuts. He loses his job, okay? One night, 6-8 months ago, my fiance had left a while ago, whatever, before this, I wrote this huge manifesto on my Facebook. And I was already getting, like, some early successes, right? There's, like, probably 10,000 followers at this point, right? But I felt so, bad. Anyways, long story short, I posted this manifesto, pouring my heart out, and the first person to share it, Joe Bondi. And that point, I will never forget in my life. Mm-hmm. And I can thank him 100 billion times for believing, because everybody wants someone to believe in.
Yes.
And no matter how strong your will is, it's so easy to give up. Yeah. Right? And not feel good enough. And I keep fighting myself every single day because our biggest enemy is ourselves.
Yes. So
Joe Bondi, I love you, buddy. I will never forget it, and I don't forget much, by the way, but he's been my buddy for 40 years. Yeah. But he has, it's that point, and I didn't ask him to. He did it, and it just was, wow.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, he's had the same impact on me. I remember
Isn't he amazing?
He is amazing. Yeah, well, it's about you.
Okay. No, Joe, I know. We love you, Joe. Me and Lyndon will talk about you after, okay?
He's already been on a podcast.
I know. He's a great man, right? He's a great dude. Yeah,
but yeah, a lot of great things. I mean, last year, we met for dinner, and he basically said, hey, Lyndon, I want you, would you consider being a mortgage agent?
Because you're awesome.
No clue. Thank you. He had no clue what I was doing. Didn't know if it was right for me, and he had some belief in me, and took a chance, right? So same impact. Guy's a great dude.
Yeah.
Now, let's talk about your roles in several IT and software companies. Okay. How has that helped you with what you're doing now?
Okay. You have to fail to learn, right? So I've been everything to owing the government a lot of money in payroll to closing a huge deal to save the company. We've had to lay people off. We've had to hire people. When we sold the first business, we had 14 people, right? And what's really helped me, the one thing that always sticks out to me is that we've always been remote. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I've done this since 2000. I've been on my own for going on 25 years. So I've worked for myself for 25 years. And the biggest thing is because everybody was dispersed, right? So when we first got into software, which was in 2001 or 2002, we couldn't afford the big wages in Canada, right? So we had a Ukraine office. So it taught us to work remotely. COVID, think recent years, COVID, everyone working at home, dispersed. So that's always given us an edge. So we've always relied on systems, right? So we know the importance of systems in organization, even though I'm not very organized. That's what's helped me tremendously, because I think if you can organize and do, right, and just go out and do and not be scared of failure. I think that's what's helped me. It's the experience, right? You can't be scared of failing. Mm-hmm. That's what this has all taught me. So definitely is huge help.
Now, where do you think you're an ideas guy?
Yeah,
obviously.
Huge idea.
Where do your other strengths lie? You said you're not the best at organizing.
No.
What do you think really allows you to excel in what you're doing right now in the past businesses? What about you?
Okay, so social media, and this answers both questions. Mm-hmm. Social media is about technology and people, okay? And my strength over anything is people. Yep. I'm extremely perceptive. I'm extremely kind. I don't want to hurt anybody. And I'm always trying to not hurt somebody. And don't think you're never going to hurt someone, okay? To get anywhere, you're always going to be bad in someone's book, right? So that's my biggest strength is people, and looking at things differently, right? I look at things and always look for ways to improve it. Mm-hmm. So when we started, we had no money, et cetera, and we've built things and we had to get more out of things. Does that make sense? Right? Ask for the deal. Ask the bigger software company, say, look, we need to use your software, but we can't afford this. It's the confidence. It's just navigation, right? That's what it is. I think it's just doing and experience and thinking, and really what it comes down to. My strength is definitely people, but I understand all the finance part of it. I understand most of the technology. So I'm pretty rounded. So the experience is what brings, kind of it all together, if that makes sense.
Yes. Now, for young entrepreneurs that are looking to start a tech company or online platform, where do you see most people lack?
Yeah.
And where do you think people, I guess, what can help a young entrepreneur get into a position that you are and others, right? Where do you see most go wrong and where do you see most go right?
Yeah, okay, 100%. It comes down to one simple thing. And I mean, there's a million things here, but there's one thing, and it sounds so cliche, okay? And I keep hearing it because I just had lunch with a YouTuber that had 6 million followers, okay? Wow. And I asked him, because I ask everybody, anybody more successful than you? Not as successful as you, because you want to know, right? Information is key. So I asked him, you know what they always say, the consistent? Show up. People give up too easily. It's the same thing, okay? Half the battle is getting there. That's it, showing up. So think about this. Every single day, without pay, without any reward, especially initially, I had to put out a video every single day. Imagine the work I do every single day, right? So we had I have a business partner, so his nephews came over a couple weeks ago. And they're like, a month ago or so at this point, they're like, how do we do a channel, because they want to mimic the success. A week after they had left his house, they did 2 or 3 videos. And then a week later, like, oh, we gave up. Nothing's going on. And my buddy's like, are you kidding me? He's like, you have to be consistent. Show up. So that's the number one thing, because people either don't even start, right? They fail and then they give up because they're too scared, or they have a little bit of success, have a couple of failures, and they give up. That's where I think people go wrong. The people that want to succeed have to keep going. Be humble. Talk to people. Network people. Most people want to help. So ask. Yeah. Ask. Don't let your head get in the way. That's what I think a lot of the young kids have the issue, because everything's given to them, right? There's no hard work anymore. Yeah. AI can't give you a software company. You make a good point. That's kind of what my point is, right? It's showing up. The rest will happen. You got to have the will.
Yeah, and I see that in our industry, whether it's mortgage agents or realtors, is that those that are brand new, if they're not asking for help and seeking out that advice, they end up failing.
Correct.
And it at the end of the day, it can be their fault, 100%. Right? They weren't. There's money to be made. 100%. It's just how hard are you willing to work? Is this my opinion?
100%. If you're not going to work hard, someone else is. Yeah. You can sit there and complain yourself, whine about it. Oh, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. Everybody has strengths. Mm-hmm. We have to just believe it. And that's why I always push, know your worth. It's such a critical thing. Because with a foundation, let's pretend this Pepsi can's your foundation. Is this a good foundation, Lyndon? If you're not happy with yourself, this is you. If you're not happy with yourself, how are you going to put anything on this? You got to fix your foundation. See? Isn't this much easier to hold the cup now? Because your foundation is strong. The foundation is you. You have to believe in you. That's the biggest thing I try to teach.
Was this staged?
No, I was looking for something. I was going to use this, but then I have coffee.
Yeah.
And it would have fell over. But no, that's how my mind works. Like everything I look at is either content or how can I make it better? Or, that's how my mind works. I'm maybe very highly ADHD, probably a little bit too.
No, that's the huge strength, right? It's like,
but I use it as a superpower. Yeah. I use my brain as a superpower, but that's just,
Yes.
That's the uniqueness of Ben, I guess.
Yeah.
Whatever. I don't strange.
Now, final question for you.
Mm-hmm.
And I've asked this I've asked this question to a lot of guests.
Yeah, please.
If you saw a young Ben Anthony, alias, or Ben Puzwali,
it's hard to
walk
say.
Through the door.
Okay.
What advice would you give to him?
In a business? Or as like a person?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
Yeah.
have values. I think that is the number one thing, is be okay with your own story.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Because no matter what you do, they'll talk about you either way. So you got to have strong shoulders. You got to have a mentor. Looking for a mentor is so important, I think. And failing. Don't be scared of failing. I teach my kids it's okay to fail. Not that I want them to fail in school and whatever, but it's okay because it means you're trying. That's the best advice. It sounds so cliche, but showing up, Lyndon, I'm not kidding with you, is so sad.
That's half the battle. Show up and take action.
Just like the gym.
Yeah.
I didn't want to go last night. My son, my 14-year-old, happy birthday to my son today, by the way.
Yes, happy birthday.
14, Vinny, I love you, buddy. But he made me, so he's like, no, we're going. I'm like, oh, but getting there so you feel great. It's the same concept. That's the absolute best advice I can give you.
When you, the days where you don't want to do something is when you
have to go. It's always darkest before the light. And there is no rain, or there is no sun without the rain, right? So we got to take the bad with the good.
Yes, yes. This was an amazing conversation.
Yeah, no, Lyndon, thank you.
I learned a lot from you. And
I'm so sorry for that.
You're an incredible person. Check out notapoordecision.com.
Notapoordecision.com, Pour the pouring, and on all social platforms, Not a Poor Decision. And Lyndon, thank you.
Awesome. Check this guy out. Before you know it, we're going to be at millions and millions of followers.
Millions. More smiles, the better. Let's do it.
And these teeth are real.
Yeah, they're real teeth. I even got them verified. Check that out.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you soon. Visit coffeewithcrainer.com for the full